Elden Ring is a ridiculous game. It's a game of epic proportions with a ridiculously massive scope and a ridiculously huge map. There are so many areas to explore, so many enemies to beat, so many weapons to wield, and so many armors to wear. It's just ridiculously ambitious. At times, it's just plain ridiculous. It's a game I recommend at players that like to play a game that give no directions to where you should go or how you should beat its enemy, and at players that like to take on a challenge. And what a challenge this is. And when I say challenge, I'm talking about how to progress through the mobs, the mini bosses, and of course the bosses, and you'll find a ridiculous amount of all of them in the game. How to progress the NPC's quests without a quest log or anything to let you even guess the next step inside the game. But I'm talking also about the game mechanics themselves and the unapologetic approach of the game developers towards the player. They really do not explain anything to you, and when they do, it's just some text on screen like it was done as a chore. And let's not forget the story. The lore is ridiculously massive and you can find it everywhere you look, but the storytelling do not explain most of them to the player, or when they do, it's just plain exposition at times. Elden Ring is huge, it's massive, and you can get lost in its world. Whatever you see in Elden Ring, you can get to it, you can climb to it, you can find a way to get to it. Everything you see, as far as high it is or hidden in a cave or something, you can get down to it, or up high. Wherever you go, you will find something to loot. Most of the times the loot is useful, but I really recommend using the God Slayer's Greatsword, which has the Queen's Black Flame skill, which was pretty broken when I played the game. It's ridiculously strong, and let's not forget, all the weapons in Elden Ring do not need repair and can get an upgrade. Especially the legendary ones need only a few upgrades, so you can get down to their max value easily. Each time you rest in a grace, all the mobs and the mini bosses, not the bosses, are respawning, so you can get to grind stuff. You can get to grind their points. The points are measured in runes, so the amount of runes you have, the amount of levels you get to upgrade, or the stuff you want to buy, and if you want to level up, it's everything about runes. Now it's time you die, you get to the last point of grace that you rested upon, and if you want to take back the runes, there are in the same point you died, so you need to get back to the last place you died and get them. But on your way back, if you die again, then you lost them forever, and there's no way to get them back. I have lost so many routes, especially if you get to the boss area and forgot to spend the runes or level up or buy some stuff. Then if you die, then you have to get back to the boss area, and you have to take the runes back and beat the boss to take the runes. Or if you die again, then if you lost the runes, you lost them forever, or you need again to get back and take the runes and fight the boss and beat the boss. Yeah, it's this stuff for again and again and again and again. To beat Elden Ring, you really need to get over yourself. You need to measure your stamina, you need to measure your focus points. The focus points you can get to use abilities, and you can use incantations and magic. It's a bit tricky to get to use all of them because the game itself does not explain anything at all. So, you need to pay runes to learn to use an incantation or a spell, and then you need to buy something, a device, a glove or something that is an enabler for this to be used, the incantation or the spell. And only then you can use it. Too many menus. I didn't get to separate the equipment from the inventory until too late in the game, and you need to know the difference, because the inventory is all the items you find, all the loot you get, and the equipment is only those that you can use on the fly in battle, and all of those have a weight value, so they get to add to your weight capacity, and you have a specific limit on your weight. And this has to do with the armor you wear, the weapons you can use, or how easily you can use them, especially the larger ones or the colossal ones. The classes are not specifically on one way to play the game, so I got to use the Vagabond, and basically melee all the time, but especially later in the game I could use incantation. I could use also magic, but I didn't want to use any magic, so I used incantations just to support my melee attacks. And because from Eternist I want to be the boss, I used the Godslayer's Greatsword with the Queen's Flame Blade skill, that if you do all the 3 steps of the skill, it does something like 3000 damage, which is quite a lot. Don't get me wrong, this game is hard. So many times I have just beaten a boss that was quite difficult, and then just 2 simple soldiers come and spam their attacks, and they're 2, so I didn't get to, use my shield for both of them. So after a huge fight with the boss, I just died to 2 simple soldiers. And this sums up a battle in Elden Ring. Too much anger, too much frustration, but this is the game. You need to search on YouTube or other websites to search stuff, to find things, how to do things, to better approach each enemy, to better use your abilities towards each enemy. Don't forget that the game does not give anything on the plate, does not explain a lot of things. So I know it's meta, but you have to use all of your abilities, your search abilities, Google search or Reddit or YouTube. You need to search for something and find a better way to beat one enemy, one boss, one mob, and of course to level up correctly to better realize your build and make it more effective. Because the build you have built should do most damage in the way you use it. If you use more melee attacks, you should make more damage and get a better armor maybe. And maybe magical defense or physical defense, it depends. If you get to attack from afar, then you have to get something to do this and do more damage from afar, or you could also spam it. And let's just not forget that in Elden Ring you need to chase each enemy, you need to find a way to beat each enemy, either it is a normal enemy, a mini boss, a boss that is really hard to pass through, and you need to chase it, you need to find a way to beat it, and with the least amount of effort. Why? Because it is too hard at times. Some of the bosses just spam attacks and they just do not end their attacking spree. Especially the most difficult for me, it was Malekith. After Malekith I beat the first Elden Ring, that is Horalu, and in just three attempts I think. The last boss, that is basically 2 in 4 or 5 I think, something like that. I beat Malenia easier than Malekith. That says a lot. Because of a bug in the version of the game I had, I beat Redan pretty easily, but of course I called my Mimic Spirit and all the available NPCs. I did it whenever they were available. I played the game like, when you get to a boss, the boss does not hold its punches. They are on a killing spree, they spam attacks, they have other stuff, other enemies to support them. They just do not stop attacking you or trying to kill you. So, I did the same thing. Whatever I had, I threw it at them and hope for a quick fight or a cheese. I was more interested, to be honest, to fight the mobs or to find a way to get over to some place to explore. I really liked the exploration. I really liked the fight and the combat. I really liked the world. Well, the world itself does not live on its own. Especially, the characters in it, not the places. The places, I think, they were okay. It's a massive place, it's a massive map, but I can't even now remember its place, and that says a lot. But its characters, all the NPCs or the mobs, the mini bosses, the bosses themselves do not live in this world. This does not make any sense. If you were not the character that you get over there to beat them, to fight them, they would just wait for someone to fight them, something like that. It seemed like a purgatory or something, that everything is waiting for you to fight them and for you to get over yourself, to get over your weaknesses, to get over anything that is a hindrance to your advancement and progress. Yeah. You need to progress, you need to explore, you need to find better things, you need to strengthen your abilities, your build. You can try some stuff. You could respect your character. Well, it's in story. You need to beat one boss to respect your character, but the story has too many plot holes. They do not explain a lot of things. The main character, well, the character the player plays as, is tarnished, and even now I don't even know what the tarnished exactly is. I mean, it's just an exile, something like that. But don't fret on it, don't stay on it. It's just like some story, some excuse for you to play this amazing game, this amazing world. You can get lost in this world. It's huge. Well, I played it in a time in my life that I needed something to get my mind over some emotions, over some difficult times, or you get on those things in life. So you need to get something to get your mind busy, to get it to work, not just just some hack and slash game, some mindless game, but something to get your mind to work. It was the perfect game for me. It isn't just that it was in this part of my life that makes this an amazing game. I believe this amazing game is the masterpiece. What is a masterpiece? Is the perfect game? What makes a perfect game? What makes a game perfect? What makes a perfect game for me does not make a game perfect for you, right? Is it good? No, it's great. It's amazing. If you like that sort of thing, maybe you don't like that difficulty. Maybe you don't like RPGs at all. Maybe you don't like so huge world. I spent something like 170 hours in it, and I don't have any remorse. I loved it. Well, I hated a lot of things, but most of the game I loved it. I really don't get this about this difficulty. I really don't get why there is no quest log. I really don't get why there is not some stuff like a pretty decent tutorial, and I don't think a text tutorial in 2022 is a decent tutorial. It's just it's over. So many stuff, so many menus. You don't get to pause the game. I mean, why? I don't get it. Why not pausing the game? This makes it more difficult? No, this just makes the game mechanics frustrating. Losing your runes when you die, and you need to get from the point of grace that you rested the last time you rested, and you need to get to the point you died to get the runes back. Why? This makes the game repetitive, and oh my god, so many repetition. I think I didn't beat any boss on the first try at least 3 times. I'm that kind of guy. Why is that? I mean, I tried the New Game Plus, and whatever you saw from the beginning of this video is from the New Game Plus. So I just tried the New Game Plus, and it's just too easy. So I get so many YouTubers, so many content creators to try to beat it with just their punches or something, or I don't know. But if you're not on the first try, I'm not even interested in that. I mean, of course you can beat it. I mean, on my second try everything was just easy. I beat even to the first boss. I don't remember where. Everything on the first try, and pretty easy. Most of the games have something like a difficulty setting, so you get to something like a normal difficulty, and on the New Game Plus everything is harder, so you get higher difficulty and every enemy is harder. But on Elden Ring the first try is the hardest one, but when you get to complete your first try everything then is easier. You can take measures to make your life harder, your playthrough harder, but this is on you. And if this game taught me everything, is to get over myself. Some enemies you need to just leave them and come when you're ready to fight them. You're not ready at the start, so just leave, just run away. You need to run away from things, and you need to get back when you're ready. You need to build yourself and get back and fight it again and again and again. Especially the dragons. I did not run away from any dragon at all on my first try, so I tried every dragon, and if it was too much then I ran away. Then I took my horse and I took my runes and ran away. but all the dragons I tried, and it was magnificent. I mean, the music, the setting, the dragon itself, the master is like playing something like Shadow of the Colossus, with everything resemble Dark Souls, of course. It's the same game developers. To be honest, I would be more interested in a game that is exactly what they want to express, and not just another Dark Souls because this is what they do, but in another setting. Like this is a Dark Soul in an open map, an open world, but I really do not need that. I do not need the same philosophy, the same game, just in another setting. I would really appreciate just to express themselves, just to make the game they want to make. If they want to add story, not just lore, not just something to read about, just add story, just make your story, just make your characters, just make the game you want to make. I know the fans want the Dark Souls, but the Dark Souls is still there. You could buy the Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. You could buy the Demon Souls. If you have a PlayStation, you would buy, I don't know, the Bloodborne, or if you have PlayStation, or Sekiro. This is also in PC. These are games that exist. So yeah, I really did not need another same game in another setting. Just make the game you wanna make. Some stuff needed to be refined in this game. Some stuff needed to be addressed. So many issues, so many bugs, so many frame drops. There was 50 frames per second, the average amount of FPS in my PC, and believe me, this is a really strong PC I have. Of course, I played with my controller, Xbox controller. I play with my controller every game it has a sword, or a game that is cool playing with a controller, like Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, we do not speak about this game. So there you go, fantasy setting, with so many inspirations from anime, from Berserk, in a dark, huge fantasy world. You just one tarnished, one little man trying to survive, trying to progress, trying to make this happen, to make this a viable plan, a viable option, and all this to get to the ending, which is I think 5 endings. I choose the Age of Stars because I thought it was the best one. Of course, to get your ending, you either go blindly at it, or you search a YouTube or a tutorial on the web, and you find how you'll get the ending you want. This is the only way to do it, especially with Rani's quest. I mean, it's extremely, you need to be extremely lucky to do this without a plan, without the steps. I could really use a quest log. I do not need the checkboxes just to do it, but I really need the quest log just to remember how to progress an NPC's quest or the story altogether, to be focused on this quest and to progress it. But this was me getting lost in Elden Ring's world. What about you? Did you find it interesting? Do you have anything to suggest? Anything to talk about? Any comment to do? Please like if you like it. Please share or subscribe if you really like this job. This is my first something like a review. I don't generally do reviews. I only play games that I like to play. I only show games that I like to play. So, this is me saying to you, this is a game I like. Maybe you should try it. This is me saying I loved Elden Ring. I also hated it, but most of the part I loved it. Should you play it? Should you try it? This is on you. This is me saying to you, I think you should try it.
I offer you an accord.